Hi everyone, welcome to English Today Journal. And hey, don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy learning English in a simple and practical way.
Points of view. This gives them a much stronger foundation for their decisions, their conversations, and their actions. Critical thinkers also reflect on their own thoughts and beliefs. They ask themselves, why do I think this? Is it true? Is it helping me or holding me back? By doing this, they avoid being misled by old habits, wrong information, or emotions like fear and anger. They can be open to new ideas while still making wise decisions. In short, critical thinkers think differently because they are curious, patient, and reflective. They ask questions, they seek evidence, and they carefully consider their options. This mindset helps them understand life better, communicate more clearly, and make smarter choices every day. Critical thinkers don't just ask random questions, they ask good questions. They ask things like, why do I believe this? What evidence is there? Could there be another explanation? These questions are not meant to create problems or make life more difficult. They are there to help understand things better. Instead of immediately accepting something as true, a critical thinker pauses and asks why it is true. They are not afraid to look deeper. Think about it. Have you ever been in a situation where someone says, that's just the way it is? Maybe at school, work, or even in your family. A critical thinker won't stop there. They will ask, but why is it that way? Could there be another way to see it? They don't ask to be rude or difficult. They ask because they care about truth, fairness, and understanding. The habits of critical thinkers. This habit of asking, why, is powerful. It keeps the mind active and open. But it is not the only thing that makes critical thinkers different. Another key habit is looking for evidence before making decisions. Imagine someone tells you about a diet that promises fast weight loss. A quick thinker might say, great, I'll try it. But a critical thinker pauses and asks, what is the evidence? Has this worked for other people? Is there real science behind it? They might read more articles, compare different opinions, or even ask an expert. They're not just looking for what sounds good, they're looking for what is real, reliable, and helpful. This habit matters more than ever today because of the way information is everywhere. Headlines scream things like, this one trick will change your life, or experts hate this secret method. These messages are made to get attention. But critical thinkers don't react immediately. They stop, take a breath, and ask, wait a minute, where is the proof? Critical thinkers also pay attention to the source of information. They ask, who is giving me this information? Do they have any reason to exaggerate or mislead? Could there be another side to the story? By doing this, they protect themselves from false information, scams, and unnecessary worry. Another habit of critical thinkers is that they consider different perspectives. They don't just look at one side of a story. They try to understand other people's opinions and experiences. This doesn't mean they have to agree with everyone. It just means they want a complete picture before making a decision. Critical thinkers also take time to reflect. They pause before acting or speaking. This habit helps in small daily decisions, like what to eat or how to respond to a message, and in bigger decisions, like choosing a career or planning a move. By thinking carefully, they make choices that are smarter, safer, and more meaningful. In short, critical thinkers ask good questions, look for evidence, consider other points of view, and reflect before acting. These habits help them understand the world better, make better decisions, and communicate more clearly. In today's fast world, where information is constant and often confusing, these habits are more valuable than ever. Being a critical thinker does not mean you never try new things. It doesn't mean avoiding risks or being afraid. It means you try things carefully, with your eyes open, ready to ask questions and learn. Critical thinkers are comfortable with saying, I don't know. They know it is okay not to have all the answers. Many people imagine that smart people always know everything. But real wisdom often comes from admitting, I don't know yet. Instead of pretending to know or picking an answer just to feel okay, critical thinkers pause. They take time to learn more. They stay open-minded. This is not a weakness. It is a sign of strength and intelligence. Here's a simple story from my own life. A few years ago, a friend invited me to join a new business opportunity. He was excited and said, "This is the future. You have to join now." At first, I almost said yes because it sounded exciting. But something inside me said, "Wait, slow down, ask questions." So I did. I asked, "Where's the money coming from? Who is running this company? Is it legal? Is it ethical?" After checking carefully, I found that it wasn't as it seemed. It was risky, unsafe, and not smart. If I had followed my excitement without thinking, I could have lost a lot. But because I paused, asked questions, and looked deeper, I protected myself. This is exactly how critical thinking works in real life. It helps you make safer, smarter choices. Critical thinkers also try to understand other people's perspectives. They don't just say, "I am right." They ask, "How do other people see this? Could I be missing something?" They listen carefully and reflect. Even if they disagree, they try to understand the other side. This habit makes them better thinkers, better communicators, better friends, and better leaders. They are not easily controlled by emotions or quick reactions. Speaking of emotions, critical thinkers are not ruled by feelings like anger, excitement, or fear. Everyone has emotions, this is human, but critical thinkers learn to pause and think before acting. For example, imagine someone sends a message that feels rude. A normal reaction might be to reply angrily. A critical thinker pauses and asks, are they really being rude, or are they just tired or busy? Could I be misunderstanding them? By doing this, they avoid unnecessary conflicts. They respond more calmly and wisely. Critical thinkers also notice when emotions try to push them into fast decisions. In a world where everything moves quickly, news, social media, advertisements, even friends' opinions, it's easy to act without thinking. Critical thinkers press the pause button. They slow down, examine the situation, and then make a choice based on facts and reason instead of just feelings. Another habit of critical thinkers is curiosity. They like to learn and explore. They ask questions not to argue or complain, but to understand. Questions like, why is this true? What evidence is there? Is there another explanation? Keep their minds active. Curiosity helps them grow, improve, and avoid mistakes. In short, critical thinkers try new things carefully, admit when they don't know, understand different perspectives, manage emotions, pause before reacting, and stay curious. These habits protect them, help them make better decisions, and make life safer, calmer, and more meaningful. In today's fast, noisy world, these habits are not just useful, they are essential. Critical thinkers don't react too quickly. Instead, they take a breath. They pause. They ask themselves questions like, is this feeling helping me right now? Should I calm down before I choose what to do? That small pause can make a big difference. It is like having a little conversation with yourself before reacting to the world. You might think, this sounds interesting, but is it really true? I feel angry right now. Should I wait before replying? I don't know much about this topic. Maybe I should listen first and speak later. These small habits, repeated over and over, shape the way you think. They change how you respond, how you speak, and even how you live. By practicing these habits, you build a thoughtful, careful, and open mind. This is what critical thinking is all about. To summarize, critical thinkers ask good questions. They look for real evidence. They stay open to learning. They are not afraid to say, I don't know. They pause before reacting, and they understand that life is not always simple or clear. Most situations are complex, and critical thinking helps us navigate life with more wisdom, less stress, and better decisions. But here's the challenge. Even if we want to think clearly, it is not always easy. Sometimes obstacles get in the way. Sometimes the world around us pushes us in another direction. If we don't understand these obstacles, it is hard to overcome them. So, let's look at some of the most common barriers to critical thinking. 1. Emotions. Emotions can make it difficult to think clearly. Have you ever made a fast decision because you were angry, scared, or overly excited? Maybe you said something you didn't mean. Maybe you bought something you didn't need. Maybe you believed something without checking if it was true. Emotions are normal. They are part of being human, but strong emotions can cloud our judgment. Fear can make you believe things that are not real. Anger can make you ignore other people's opinions. Excitement can make you trust an idea too quickly without checking the facts first. 2. Habits and routines. Another barrier is habits. Sometimes we do things automatically without thinking. For example, we might believe something because we always believed it or follow advice because everyone else is following it. These habits can make it hard to question ideas, look for evidence, or consider new perspectives. Critical thinkers notice their habits. They ask themselves, am I thinking this way because it's true or because it's familiar? 3. Pressure from others. Peer pressure, social media, or advertising can also block critical thinking. When everyone around you believes something, it is easy to follow without questioning. Companies and media often want quick reactions. They want us to click, buy, or share without thinking. Critical thinkers resist this pressure. They pause and ask, does this make sense? Who benefits from me believing or doing this? 4. Lack of information. Sometimes we simply don't have enough information to make a good decision. It is easy to jump to conclusions when we feel we need an answer immediately. Critical thinkers admit, I don't know yet. They gather more information, check facts, and explore different perspectives before deciding. By understanding these barriers, emotions, habits, pressure from others, and lack of information, we can slow down, think carefully, and make better choices. Critical thinking is not about being perfect. It is about learning to pause, ask questions, and reflect before reacting. This small pause, this thoughtful reflection, changes everything. It protects us from mistakes, misunderstandings, and unnecessary stress. Sometimes, even when we want to think clearly, certain barriers stop us. One big barrier is emotions. Have you ever believed something just because it felt good, not because it was true? Emotions are very powerful. They can make us excited, scared, or angry. And if we are not careful, they can take us away from clear thinking. For example, you might feel worried after seeing a scary news story and share it immediately without checking if it's true. Or you might get angry in a conversation and say things you don't really mean. Emotions are normal, but strong emotions can cloud judgment. Critical thinkers notice their feelings. They pause, take a breath, and ask, am I reacting to the facts, or am I reacting to my emotions? That pause helps them think more clearly and make better decisions. A second barrier is self-doubt. This is the little voice in your head that says, maybe I'm not smart enough. What if I'm wrong? I don't want to look foolish. Many people avoid asking questions because they worry about what others think. They stay quiet in discussions because they don't trust their own voice. But asking questions is not a weakness. It is a sign of strength. It shows you care about understanding, that you want to learn, and that you are thinking. Every critical thinker has felt unsure at some point. Confidence grows when you allow yourself to explore, ask questions, and admit you don't know everything. The more you practice, the stronger your critical thinking becomes. The third barrier is bias. Bias is tricky because most of us don't even realize we have it. Bias happens when we prefer certain ideas, people, or information without really knowing why. It can come from our culture, our upbringing, or the people we spend time with. For example, you might believe one group of people is always right and another is always wrong. Or you might trust someone just because they are famous, not because their ideas make sense.